Okay, here's our video for 1.4, and this is where we're going to get into that multiplication that I messed up on at the end of the 1.3 video. So hopefully I'll show you the right way to do it in this video. And again, I think of it as, because it helps people remember, is what to do. How do I start this problem? It's probably a good idea to factor first. That works for so many things. We've seen it how to reduce fractions. We've seen it how to do ratios. Um, and we're going to do it here when we multiply and divide fractions. We're going to factor first, then we cancel our common factors, and then we put everything back together. So that's your strategy over and over and over. If you can't remember, sometimes I tell students it's just the F word, which is to factor, factor first. So don't tell anyone I said that. Okie dokie. So let's do this one. I'm going to not multiply 48 times 4 and 5 times 24. I'm going to factor first. So 48, and I am going to do these factor trees super quick because by now, okay, where did that go? I lost it. By now, you should be really good at factor trees. So you can start them any way that you see fit, but they should all end at the same point. So 48 is 4 2s and a 3. And 4 is 2 times 2. I can do that one in my head. Oops. 4 2s and a 3. I forgot the 3 in there. Sorry about that. All right, 5 is prime. 24. I'm doing this in my head, right? I should be able to do this really quickly and easily by now at this point in the chapter. So it's 3 2s and a 3. Let's make sure I did that right. 48 is 4 2s and a 3, 4 2s and a 3, and then 4 is 2 2s. Okay, so now I can start canceling my common factors. So I do have a 3 on the top and a 3 on the bottom. And here's a pair of 2s. Here's another pair of 2s. Here's another pair of 2s. Now all I have left on the bottom is a 5 and a bunch of 1s. And there's no 5s on top, so I'm done. Can't cancel anymore. So 5 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is 5. And I'm left with, these guys are all 1s. So I'm left with 3 2s, which I know is 8. So my answer is going to be 8. Let's see if we can type that baby in there. 8. Yes. So I did not multiply 5 times 24 or 48 times 4. I factored first. Much, 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 much easier. All right, for division, it's going to be the same thing as multiplication after we flip this second fraction and change it to multiplication. So we're going to rewrite this as 24 over 23 times the reciprocal of this guy, 23 over 28. Now, before I even factor, I notice I've got a 23 on the bottom and a 23 on the top, and they're both prime, but even if they weren't, I can go ahead and cancel them now before I go any further. So then I'm just factoring 24, which is 2 times 12, which is 2 times 6, which is 2 times 3. See how I did that in my head? Because I've done a bazillion factor trees. Again, go ahead and factor it out using your factor tree, or let's say you've came up with 4 times 6 or anything, you're going to land at the same place. Okay, so I'm going to start going quicker on my factoring and do less of this because I expect that you can do this by now. 28 is 2 times 14, which is 2 times 7. So I can cancel one pair of 2s, a second pair of 2s, and nothing else. I'm left with 6 over 7. See how easy that is? Invariably, people tend to make this much harder than they need to. But factor first. When in doubt, factor first. All right, let's do this one. It's going to misbehave. There we go. 13 over 3 over 16, and I'm going to rewrite this as 6 over 1. So my numerator is 3 times 6. See how I did that? Okay, and my denominator is 16 times 1, so that's 2 times 8, which is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2. Cancel. 1 pair of 2's, that's it. 3 times 1 times 3, 9. 2 times 2 times 2, 8. Done. Again, I know I'm going fast because I don't want these videos to last forever. I have a 15-minute time limit. I don't want to bore you, but you definitely want to do these multiple times until you understand thoroughly what I'm doing and until I am not moving too fast for you. So, need to change these to improper first. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 4, times 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9 over 4. 9 is 3 times 3 times 9 again. 4 is 2 times 2 times 4 again. And you notice that I can't cancel anything. So that's fine. I just need to go back and put it back together. 9 times 9, use my chart. 4 times 4. And I know that I can't reduce that because I couldn't reduce it here, so I can't reduce it here. But they want your answer in mixed number form. Okay, so I've got to go one more step. I've got to do the long division here. I've got to do 16 into 81. So I can look on my chart here at my 16s and see that it goes in 5 times, gives me 80. If I try to go 6 times, I would get 96. That's too many. So 5 times 16 is 80, subtract and get a 1. So the 5 is my whole number, the 1 is my numerator, and the 16 is my denominator. 5 and 1/16. Oh, what did I do? Let's try it again and see what I did wrong. And of course, I can't go back to my previous work. So let me, oh, it was a 2 on the bottom. Look at what I did. Okay, come on. All right, so this is going to be 9 over 4 times 9 over 2. That's what I did wrong. And remember, this is just 3's and 3's and 2's down on the bottom, so no canceling. So I'm going to rewrite as 81 over 8. Now my long division is 8 into 81. And I'm going to use my multiplication table and follow along my 8s and see that 11 would be too many. It would get me in 88 times. So it's going to go in 10 complete times, give me 80 with 1 left over. So I should have gotten 8 and 1/8. Sorry, 10 and 1/8. This is my whole number. Are you confused yet? So let's try it. Change our answer to 10 and 1/8. Try that. I like that better. Okie dokie. I am not going to multiply all those numbers, remember? I'm going to factor first. So I'm going to write 40 as 2 times 20, which is 2 times 10, which is 2 times 5. 20 is 2 times 10, which is 2 times 5. And 12 is 2 times 6, which is 2 times 3. Hopefully I did that right. We'll find out if I get the wrong answer. 24 is 2 times 12. And again, you don't have to do this in your head. You do your factor trees and be careful and deliberate and make sure you don't make mistakes like I might be making. All right, 2 times 12, which is 2 times 6, which is 2 times 3. Now I've got 100, which is 2 times 50, which is 2 times 25, which is 5 times 5. And 16 is 4 2's. I remember that from before. It's 4 times 4, which is 2 times 2. So lots of canceling here. All right, so here's a pair of 2's, another pair of 2's, another pair of 2's. There's a 3 here on the bottom, so let's cancel it with that 3 on the top. Here's another pair of 2's, Another pair of 2s. Here's 2 5s on the bottom, 2 5s on the top. It pays to be neat and organized here when you're doing this so you don't lose track of what you're doing or you don't miss a number. Okay, you'll notice that everything on the top canceled and became 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1. These guys are all 1s, and then I have a 2 times 2. So all of that giant thing just reduces to 1/4. Let's see if we got it right. 5 of 20. All right, I think you got the idea here. Let's do this one. The thing about the division is you want to flip that second fraction and change it to multiplication. And you want to rewrite 6 as 6 over 1. So instead of divided by 11/24, I'm going to write times 24 over 11. I'm not going to multiply 6 times 24. I'm going to factor first. 6 is 2 times 3. 24 is 2 times 12, which is 2 times 6, which is 2 times 3. 1 and 11 is prime. Now, look, there's no 11 up on the top. So this sort of didn't help me, but I still have to do it to make sure I can't cancel. So now I want to go ahead and do 24 times 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 2, 12, 13, 14. So I'm going to get 144 over 11. All right. And it doesn't, that's improper, but it doesn't tell me that I have to put it as a mixed number. 144 over 11. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Don't do any more work than you have to. Excellent. All right, let's do this one. Got to change them to improper, both of them, and then I've got to invert this second one and multiply. So first the improper, 13 times 9. I'm going to use my chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 117 plus 4. Don't forget that plus 4. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's going to give me 121 over 13. Don't flip this one in the first step. Wait till the next step to flip it because you want to make sure you do this part right. 9 times 2 is 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 over 9. Now I can flip 121 over 13. First one stays the same. Second one flips. All right, now I'm definitely not multiplying 121 times 9. I'm going to factor first. I'm going to find 121 on my multiplication table. And if you look hard, you'll see that it's 11 times 11. 11 is prime. So 11 times 11 and 9 is 3 times 3. 13 is prime and 22 is 2 times 11. So what's going to cancel? One pair of 11s and that's it. So the top becomes 11 times 9 and the bottom becomes 13 times 2. They want it improper, so I've got to do long division. Whoops. So 26 into 99. And this one's actually hard for the first time. It's not on our multiplication table. So I need to estimate. So this is 26 is kind of close to 25, and 99 is kind of close to 100, and 25 goes into 100 4 times. So I'm going to test over here 26 times 4 and see if that's right. I'm guessing here. 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 2 is 8, 9, 10. Ooh, 104, too many. So I know that it's going to be 3. So come back down to 3. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So 3 gives me 78. Subtract. So I'm going to have 3 and 21 over 26. You do need to take a moment to see if you can reduce that. 21 is 3 times 7. 26 is 2 times 13. And there's nothing that will cancel there, so you're going to leave it like that. 3 and 21 over 26. See if I can remember it long enough to type it in. Excellent. Okay, we're about to run out of time. I'm not going to do any more. That's section 1.4. Hopefully that was helpful.